My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Alright, today is July 28, 2026. It is 3:03 a.m. This is video number 2. So let's go on X. We're just gonna continue from last recording. Okay, we're starting with this. First tweet. Two brothers, two very different lives. One is the heir and one is the so-called spare. Both are the sons of the King of the UK with titles bestowed on them. The role of the heir is always placed above the spare. The role of the heir is always placed above the spare, but should it be? Is it the title that matter or achievement and what each role has achieved with the platform they have been afforded? If success is based on achievement, which it must be, then we all know that Prince Harry went hands down. The UK needs to start viewing the monarchy not in the hierarchical sense, but in the success of the role. The UK media need to stop popping up the heir and challenge his non-achievement. The UK media needs to acknowledge the truth and success of Prince Harry, promote his phenomenal work, as his success is what the country needs to enable communities to thrive. What they are currently doing is allowing for our most talented member of the Unroyal, Prince Harry, to use his skills to the benefit of the country, which has unequivocally embraced him. Things must change or the UK will continue to be the loser and we the citizen merely spectators and watching the archaic institution continue to fool us as they achieve nothing. Well, I agree with that. I always say if they want to keep the institution, maybe there should be a vote. Okay? Pretty much adding to what each of the royals' achievements can offer. Each of the royals can offer to the UK based on their achievement, their work, or whatnot. Then they will be the head of the institution. Or if they cannot do that, just abolish it. Look, other countries have abolished their monarchy. They're still functioning. But if these people, those monarchies, were to use their platform in a way, it would have been good. At least there's one group family that's really there for the people, for the country. That would have been good in a sense. But what they have turned that into, where everything is for them and they're not even protecting, their citizen or show some sort of a care for their citizen. So what's the point of having them when the family don't even care about the people, the citizen, and possibly the country as a whole? They don't really need them. Well, I'm not over there, so I'm fine where I'm at. I have my own Trump stupidity to deal with. Let's read some of the comments. It looks so small. Why? Okay, really? How do we know if the work Princess Anne does is actually effective if none of their work has been evaluated? Making visit, etc. doesn't mean anything if the work is not what community need nor want. For Princess Anne, yes, what she's doing is not like the most heavy lifting type of work, but I have a little perspective of Princess Anne because she's not the head of the family, and it seems like men in gray suit, the way they curated the royal family to operate for the country, it's really, they're actually pushing them back to do less.
Told, been given advice to that it would be best if she could be 50% less than she was.
Wow.
That was the quote. If she could be 50% less. And I remember hearing that in 2018 and said specifically to her, I don't know how you're going to survive being half of yourself.
But there are times Princess Anne stood up for things that is right. For instance, when I believe Edward Young was replaced, the Queen's, I think, private secretary or something, Princess Anne and Edward, according to the tabloid, okay, allegedly, I don't know if it's actually true, spoke out and was against it and said how incompetent Edward Young was. And on a different level of things where it was not even documented on the tabloid, which I have seen with my own two eyes, where she didn't have to do that, Princess Anne that is I watch a YouTuber from the UK. They are twins. They do what you call this, track and field. Occasionally I watch this their channel. Look at the screen. I'll put the screenshot of their channel. When they were training for the Olympic, the last Olympic, they will do little updates, their training, what they're doing, their travel to do things, okay, leading to the Olympics. And one of their episode is that Princess Anne was there on the field talking to the other athletes. There were different athletes doing their own thing, preparing for the Olympics. She was there. I don't know what she said. Maybe it's a form of encouragement, just checking on them or whatever. I think to a certain level, okay, again, I'm not in the UK. The royal family doesn't mean shit to me, but it might boost the people in the UK who live with them. Okay, they are part of the system in the UK. So her showing up at the training probably boosts the athlete to do extra, much better or something like that. So those twins sort of said, oh, this is Princess Anne over there. She didn't put her camera on, in Princess Anne's face or anything like that. She was like, oh, there's Princess Anne. And you could see, she was trying to hide it in a way not to disturb or disrespect Princess Anne, but she sort of pointed out that Princess Anne was there talking to the athletes. And she sort of showed the group that were around Princess Anne. You could sort of see it was Princess Anne that was there. I thought that meant a lot to the athletes, and Princess Anne didn't have to do that. And I think this is almost something that Harry will probably do. And it was not documented on the paper or anything like that. I saw it through a YouTube channel. Okay? So Princess Anne is slightly different from the rest of the royal family. Maybe there are others who's doing that. We're not aware of that. But when they claim that Princess Anne is the hardest working royal, whichever you want to take it, but at least she's doing whatever is required by her position. Okay? So that's that. Let's get back to the original code. Oh, and also, I think before the coronation, before Charles took the place of the monarchy, there was an interview where Princess Anne was being real. She was like, when the interview asked her, like, what kind of monarchy the Charles will be or something like that, she was like, which I agree with her, you know what you're gonna get, so don't expect something different or something like that. Let me put that part. And then,
as we're in this moment of transition, I think it's not unnatural that people are having conversations about the monarchy and the place of the monarchy in various countries, Canada included. And some of the recent polling is suggesting that there is a drop in the percentage of people who would like to see the monarchy continue. How do you deal with that as a family?
Well, we don't, in many respects, need to deal with it. Mm-hmm. Not least of all because it is the monarch that is the key to this, and the constitution that underpins the monarchy. We as a family see ourselves there as to support that role. What we do, we hope, contributes to the monarchy and the way in which it can convey continuity of not just interest but of service, of understanding, the way that people and communities want to live their lives. And I think so often we get the chance to see communities and the people who do things really well and are very generous with their time in a way that, if you look at the media, you tend not to get that impression.
Are there conversations about relevance?
There will be everywhere. It's not a conversation that I would necessarily have. I think it's perfectly true that it is a moment where you need to have that discussion. But I would just underline that the monarchy provides, with the Constitution, a degree of long-term stability that is actually quite hard to come by any other way.
And when we think about this duty, this role that the king has taken on, what kind of king do you think he'll be?
Well, you know what you're getting because he's been practicing for a bit. And I don't think he'll change. You know, he is committed to his own level of service. That will remain true.
Let's get back to the original recording. Okay, really, how do we know if the work Princess Anne does is actually effective if none of their work has been evaluated? Making visit, etc. doesn't mean anything if the work is not what community need nor want. As for Prince Harry, his work is regularly assessed and is qualifiable. The UK itself is the greatest critics. Just the Invictus game alone is more successful than anything I've heard Princess Anne do. The only other work which has been quantifiable is King Charles III, formerly the Prince's Trust and now the King Trust. He even refused to let Bully Boy take it over when he became Prince of Wales, as he knows how useless he is. To say William work hard, the term work and Bully Boy and especially KKK should never be used in the same sentence, as it is the greatest oxymoron of all time. It's true. Trying to insert logic into this discussion is not a good use of time. You know what that remind me? That speech Scott Pelley did. It fits perfectly with this discussion, where they glorify stupidity and then they who make criminals heroes and heroes criminals, this type of thing. This is the thing that these people want to turn our world. Common sense doesn't make sense anymore to them.
But in this moment, this morning, our sacred rule of law is under attack. Journalism is under attack. Universities are under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. And insidious fear is reaching through our schools, our businesses, our homes, and into our private thoughts. The fear to speak in America. Power can rewrite history with grotesque, false narratives. They can make criminals heroes and heroes criminals. Power can change the definition of the words we use to describe reality.
All right. The royalists will never change. There is no meritocracy in England, and the people are willingly subservient to the upper class. Thankfully, in the US, there is not the concept of a spare. Well, they're trying, okay? They're trying to bring that same mindset, but in a different way, okay, to the US. But the thing is that people in the US are fighting back. They are, I mean, you may not see it, but it's there. People are fighting back. People who have a platform, they are fighting back, despite them capturing the media, the newspapers and all of that. So every platform that many Americans have, they, you know, the well-minded one, not all, because the MAGA's still spreading their stupidities. But that's the difference here. They don't get all of the Americans to drink their Kool-Aid. All right, did I finish? Thankfully, in the US, there is not the concept of a spare. I know you're right, but it's still difficult to accept. Prince Harry, the global leader. All right, so that was during 1 year leading up to the Invictus in Germany. All right, so let's move on. Next tweet. They've been so subtle with their ways, but now they are on steroid. They want to make sure they do their craziness globally. Okay, good riddance to bed rubbish. Make no mistake, this is a tantrum retirement, as he wasn't due to retire for another couple of years. King Charles going over his head and meeting with his son and grandchildren was the final nail in the coffin for Sir Clive. What an evil old man whose departure was well overdue. Bring out the champagne. Okay, Sir Clive Alderton, King's most senior aide, to step down. Buckingham Palace announces principal private secretary is to retire after serving Charles and Camilla for 20 years. What happened to that guy? What's his name? Something Young. Edward Young. He was the one that Charles have put in place to serve the Queen when Meghan was there. Harry and Meghan. They remove one step down, or did they remove him? Okay. But anyway, I'm just wondering what happened to Edward Young. Well, the Queen died, so they probably he's done with. I don't know. Okay. May Sir Clive never miss the door as he exits his post after 20 years. Good riddance. Bye. Maybe we are really tuning a big corner. Nah. The first thing that crossed my mind when I saw that, I think of a revolving door. Okay, revolving door typically means to me where the same nonsense continue, it's just someone else is gonna replace him. Okay, which one is this? The Wasp, the demon, or the snake? The Wasp. This departure is well overdue. Wow, so it's really happening. Someone called it when Harry and Meghan met King Charles, said we will see resignation, and he was a prominent man stepping down. Wow. Yes, Tom Sykes wrote there will be 8 leaving and about time too. I don't know much about this, but whatever. I took some screenshot of an article one of the squad share. I want to read it, so this is it. I'm gonna read it so I know what's going on. Alright, spare a thought for William Macbeth, that's the laugh here, after prematurely crowning himself King William V and declaring himself the de facto king. It seems Spa isn't dying after all. Instead, Charles is reasserting his authority and reclaiming the throne. Well, we have to understand, they know that too. There's the real life, the real thing that's happening, and then there's the social media. William could say whatever he wants on social media, but in reality, Charles is the king. Alright, and he knows that too. It's clear King Charles has realized he backed the wrong horse, and at the very least doesn't want to go down in history as the most cruel father and grandfather the monarchy has ever produced. With Charles, from my understanding, when he first met Meghan, okay, it seems like things was going accordingly. It seems like they had good conversation. Meghan had good conversation with him and things like that. Things was going well. I think it's someone who put some nonsense in his head to go this beast. And then they probably there was that, first of all, there was that plan, what you see going on globally, and the US is going everywhere. The white power sign that I remember the squad used to point out, where KKK and Miss Mumbo and the horse used to do, the squad used to point out. That was the plan. So they probably forced, and let's not forget that as well, Meghan was never in their bingo card, a woman of color to marry into the royal family. So that messed up their plan really bad. So Meghan was not part of the agenda. So they had to do what they needed to do to make her leave. And probably redirect Charles into following the plan of what's going on right now. I mean, I don't know. The world, the universe works in a kind of mysterious way, because if it wasn't for that, Harry marrying Meghan, and then the plan, the master plan of the stupidity that you see going on globally, okay, create more division. It's been going on for a very long time, but where they were gonna go full steroid, okay, after President Obama's election twice, okay, they wanted to fast forward their plan, and then there's Meghan who came into the into the fold, and it pretty much shook them up a little bit, and it exposed them. It exposed them completely, because I used to think the royal family was that prestige, those stupidity that I'm reading about them, where I can't even wrap my head around how childish the nonsense is. I never thought of them that way at all. I used to think they were above that. But what had happened with Meghan and Harry, it exposed them. It brings light to their stupidity. They are part of the nonsense that you see going on globally. Alright? So the same tactic that they use to manipulate, to play mind game with people, alright, it exposed them and make me realize they are part of their nonsense, the nonsense that you see going on. Okay. Let's continue. Of course, it's all smoke and mirror, because Charles is simply incapable of thinking of anyone but himself. Harry and Meghan will be wise to keep watching their backs. Oh, of course. Of course. That video, it has been done before. I called it out a long time ago, before we knew all of this nonsense that was going on in the background. Definitely. Because for Charles, it had been documented when Princess Diana, okay, the moment Harry was born, he did the photo app, pretend he's the dutiful father, and right after, once they got home, he went to play polo. He didn't give a shit. And then there's so many other things. Look at this screenshot. I forgot what it said, where if something happened to Harry, he doesn't care. He literally told us. So definitely, Harry should be careful. And I think if they did, the Sussexes, Archie, Lily, Meghan, Harry, did meet Charles, I think they're done. They just wanted that picture for the kids. I think they're done. Alright, the Wasp is leaving the palace, advanced Harry. Clive Alderton's exit is a huge win for the Bring Back Harry party, captained by the king. Readers of the Royalists will be less surprised. Nah, Harry is done. I think, okay, Harry's done with the coming back, the 50-50. Harry's done.
Can you see a day when you would return as a full-time member of the royal family?
No. And not only he's done, he has a taste of freedom in the United States. He's done. When Harry was leaving, where the palace was trying to create a gray area, okay? But Harry and Meghan, they said it in the open interview, they wanted to make sure this is what the palace wanted, because Harry and Meghan wanted to stay. They wanted to do the 50-50, but the palace was confusing them. But Harry and Meghan made sure their exit is documented. So they are done. Harry and Meghan are done with that working royal crap thing. Okay? I'll put the clip where I think they are done. That's the clip from the Oprah interview.
So in conclusion, if you'd had the support, you'd still be there.
Without question.
Yeah.
I'm sad that what's happened has happened, but I know, and I'm comfortable knowing that we did everything that we could to make it work, and we did everything on the exit process the way that it should have been
with
done.
as much respect.
With as much
and
respect.
Oh my God, we just did everything we could to protect them.
All right, let's read some of this article screenshot. And thanks to the squaddy who shared this to take the time and put the screenshot. I shared it on my community board already. The Wasp is leaving the palace, advanced Prince Harry. Okay, just Harry. Clive Alderton exit is a huge win for the Bring Back Harry party, captained by the king. Readers of the Royalists will be less surprised than others at the development. All right, so that's from Tom's side. The news that Sir Clive Alderton, King Charles' principal private secretary, is standing down from his role after 20 years of royal service is a huge win for the Bring Back Harry party, captained by the king himself, to which Alderton has long been a leading member of the opposition. It will not come as a huge surprise to readers of the Royalists or viewers of my YouTube channel. He made sure to let you know he has a YouTube channel. I have been talking for some time about the rise of court's chief dove, Theo Wycroft, Alderton's deputy, who is now in pole position. And let's not forget as well, the lawsuit between Harry and Daily Fair. Okay, I don't know if Harry and the rest of the claimant are gonna go for, what do you call this, where they petition the ruling, what's the term, appeal, if they're gonna appeal it. But technically his job is done because the lawsuit is done, all 3 lawsuits is done, and this was the main one for them. Okay, the Daily Fair version. So he's done. He wanted to make sure to keep the narrative, to keep the secret, or whatever it is his job was in there with the Daily Fair, to make sure it's done. So the lawsuit is done, so he's done too. All right, next tweet. Let's continue. Alderton, of course, was famously nicknamed the Wasp by Harry in his memoir Spare. As the king's principal private secretary, he controlled the king's diary, and he was very much the man in grey suit that Harry had in mind when last year, after detail of his supposedly private tea with Charles at Clarence House leaked to the media, Harry's camp came out swinging. The quote attributed to the Duke, this spokesperson said, were pure invention fed. One can only assume by sources intended on sabotaging any reconciliation between father and son. Harry blamed the man in grey suit for the leak. And also, let's not forget, when the Queen was alive, Harry was supposed to go meet the Queen. Well, I don't know if this guy was there, so it could have been Edward Young, a version of this guy to Edward Young, where Harry already spoke with the Queen to meet and all of that, have tea, and then before Harry and Meghan go meet the Queen, they changed her diary. Alright, the Royalist has been ahead of the game on this story, but it has been gossip about for several months now. There is a reason it has been so difficult for my colleague in the UK legacy media to report, although it has been widely known in royal circles for some time now that Alderton was deeply unhappy with the direction of travel of Charles' heavy policy. Reporters cannot afford to anger the King's press office, headed by another hawk, Tobin Andrea, or they risk being cut off. For many, that is simply too big a risk to take. Yeah, I think the lawsuit is done, so his role with the king is done as well. I have been reporting for some time on the increasing influence of Wycroft, and although Buckingham Palace is briefing that there will be a competitive recruitment process open to internal and external candidates, most people understand that Wycroft and the natural order of things should take over the role. That is how these things usually work. Yeah, people who already been working in the palace, they just move them up. All right. As far back as September 9, 2025, I reported in the Daily Beast that Wycroft was thought to have been brought in, at least partly, to smooth tension with Harry that Alderton has exacerbated. Adding Wycroft's reputation for pragmatism has sparked quite speculation that he could open the door to some kind of managed reconciliation with Harry. Whether his influence can outbalance Alderton's thing remains to be seen. No. Whatever they do, Harry should remain, whatever Harry is doing right now, dealing with the palace, should continue. Because these people, they will never stop. Okay? And this is why when Harry was leaving, where he said, this is much bigger than him. Okay?
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option. What I want to make clear is we're not walking away, and we certainly aren't walking away from you. Our hope was to continue serving the Queen, the Commonwealth, and my military associations, but without public funding. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible. I've accepted this, knowing that it doesn't change who I am or how committed I am. But I hope that helps you understand what it had come to, that I would step my family back from all I have ever known, to take a step forward into what I hope can be a more peaceful life. I was born into this life, and it is a great honor to serve my country and the Queen. When I lost my mum 23 years ago, you took me under your wing. You looked out for me for so long, but the media is a powerful force. And my hope is one day our collective support for each other can be more powerful, because this is so much bigger than just us.
The world is dealing right now, this was the warning that Harry gave us.
But the media is a powerful force. And my hope is one day our collective support for each other can be more powerful, because this is so much bigger than just us.
This was much bigger than just him and Meghan. All right? And especially with their union, it's against what the system wants the rest of the world to go by. All right, the interracial marriage, the world don't want that. The palace, the system don't want that. All right. And in my subtract piece in June 21 this year, Chaos at King's Court, I wrote that the easiest way to understand Charles' court is to divide it into hawks and doves. The hawks, led by Clive Alderton, believe that Harry's behavior is unforgivable and that the monarchy this is the king's son, and I don't know what the hell they think. Again, I'm bringing where they criminalize heroes and then glorify criminals.
Grotesque, false narratives. They can make criminals heroes and heroes criminals. Power can change the definition of the words we use to describe reality.
That kind of mindset. All right, because Harry didn't do anything wrong, just protect himself and his family. All right, the Hawks, led by Clive Alderton, believe that Harry's behavior is unforgivable and that the monarchy will be harmed if Harry and Meghan are replatformed by the king. Again, the positivity that you see Harry is showing, they do not want that. Again, the upside down kind of thing. William sides with them. They are described by Harry as the men in grey suit. The doves I wrote were led by former diplomat Theo Rycroft, the king's deputy private secretary, widely expected to succeed Alderton in the fullness of time. Well, here we are. Part of what makes writing about the royal sometimes a little sense is the way that the palace so often confirms or denies things. After I wrote about Wycroft's wife, plenty of people pushed back unofficially, telling me I was wrong, that there was no frictions, no factions. So it is, I'll admit, gratifying to have it confirmed that my sources have been telling me the truth. The court is indeed riven with fractionalism, and Charles, now that he has his health back, so he doesn't have cancer anymore, is wait until you see there's something negative going on, and then the cancer is coming back. I'm telling you, these people are something. Is reshaping his court around the thing he actually wants, and what the king wants is Harry back. Nah, Harry's not going back. If, for instance, Charles have shown some pushback with the negativity that the papers were writing about Meghan and Harry, if there was some sort of a pushback at that time, okay, where Charles' voice was really needed, maybe I will say, maybe Harry will consider, but no, he kept his mouth shut. And then he doubled down, he quadrupled down. He took his own, Fragmore away from him. From my understanding, Fragmore is still empty. Okay? So Harry doesn't have a place of his own to go to. So he did Harry a good favor by doing all of that, because Harry knows what game he's playing with his blood family, with the exception of the Spencers. Alright, there is a bigger story here too. A king taking back power. You have to go all the way back to George III, who confounded his doctor in 1789, recovering his wit just as Parliament prepared to hand power to his son as regent. To find a British monarch restored to health, so pointedly reclaim control from his heir. what is he talking about? I know I don't follow the royal family and stuff like that, the Derangers, but Charles never gave away his power. What are they talking about? Noise on the internet doesn't make things true. Alright, Charles is reasserting himself and the court is being reshaped in his image, not William. I don't know what he's talking about. Ultimately, if you know what, this is full-blown stupidity here. Alright. Ultimately, if you are the King private secretary, your job is to enable him. What I think was happening here, like I've said at the beginning, that guy who's leaving, Sir Clive Alderton, okay, he was there as a foot for the papers. Now that the lawsuit is done, he's leaving. He doesn't need to inform the papers of anything anymore. The lawsuit is done. And the papers won. Okay? Any threat to the king, alright, no longer needed. He doesn't have to threat the king for the papers. Charles is afraid of the papers. Alright?
I'm acutely aware of where my family stand and how scared they are of the tabloids turning on them.
Turning on them for what? They're the royal family.
Yes, but it's there is this invisible what's termed or referred to as the invisible contract behind closed doors between the institution and the tabloids, UK tabloids.
How so?
Well, it is to simplify it. It's a case of if you as a family member are willing to wine, dine, and give full access to these reporters, then you will get better press.
What do you care about better press if you're royal?
I think everyone needs to have some compassion for them in that situation, right? There is a level of control by fear that has existed for generations. I mean,
But who's controlling?
This is my opinion, by the way. Alright, the feeling and part of Charles' own camp for some time has been that Alderton was, if not doing the opposite, very definitely not getting on very enthusiastically with the business of delivering what the king wanted, reconciliation with his son and his son's family. They're afraid of Charles, not Charles. They are afraid of Harry because this is the only person in the royal family they cannot control. And Harry reads right through them. Alright? He seems to have been intent on saving the king from what he regarded as his bad idea. After 20 successful years at Charles' aid, it seems Alderton thinks this too big mistake to endorse. I don't know if I should even continue. Let's see here. Departure. I think I'm just gonna stop. Is that here? Let me see. Departure. How many more? Anyone? Departure. So 2 more. Let me just finish. The departure will be orderly and it has been announced intelligently. Alderton stays until next year. There is no sense he is being bundled out of the door, but well, he's still there to train the next person who's gonna take his place. But the reality is that Alderton only turned 60 next year. What? He's only 60? And could have stayed on. He has in many ways been a superb private secretary to the king. He managed the accession and the transition of the household with genius skills, but the Harry question was different. Difficult, painful for the king. That's the problem they had with Harry. They couldn't control Harry. They did everything. And Alderton was on the wrong side of it. He sits on the Ravic board, the committee that decide on protection for royal and VIPs, which has consistently declined to restore Harry's security. If Alderton hasn't actively blacked Harry, he has certainly done nothing to help him. It is a huge issue, and the king and the men charged with executing his wishes have wanted very different things on it for some time, as I have been reporting. Yeah, they can control Harry. And then with that 28 days notice, alright, that they try to put for Harry, they thought Harry really very desperate.
Everyone assembled that, above all, I was desperate to keep security. That was what worried me most, my family's physical safety. I wanted to prevent a repeat of history.
Okay, they put him in a state where they wanted Harry to be in need of them. When Harry, I've shown he doesn't need them, with the exception when he's doing public engagement, he needs that police protection. which had been provided over and over to other people who's not even high profile like him. Anyone who has read Tom Bowers' Rebel King will recognize the pattern. Courtiers who ultimately don't agree with Charles don't last. From Sir John, nah, he was done. I truly believe, because after the lawsuit, he was done. His job was done. The paper wanted to know what's going on in the palace, when Harry's there, what Harry's doing, and all of that. So they could do what they need to do. That 28 days notice was basically, they want to know every step Harry was doing. Alright, from Sir John Riddle onward, the history of Charles' private office is literally with clever men who found that once the boss stopped taking their advice, the writing was on the wall. Alderton now joined that list, albeit with a longer run and a softer landing than most. This is just BS, okay? Trying to shape people's mind for something else, but nah. Which brings us back to Wycroft, the affordable and amiable former diplomat brought in last year, who has worked closely with William as well as Charles. He was at William's aid in Paris for the Notre Dame reopening and the meeting with Donald Trump. Okay, this is the thing that they want to redirect people into. Right? Trump and his, okay, the mafia type of thing. Alright, the scaring people, scaring every people prominent who don't want to take them face on. Alright, they put them in power. They have the military and all of that. So, you know, the nonsense that's going on in the Middle East. So, like I said, everything is connected. Trump and his previous life as deputy head of mission at the British embassy there. Is this in fact a rather clever move by the king, installing someone who is simpatico with William but aligned with the king's core conviction that his son needs to shake hands and move on? Nah, it's just a different direction, the MAGA type of thing. Alright, I have been saying for months that the balance of power at the palace was shifting in light of Charles' recovery. Today, it shifted decisively. Alderton is a genuine hate figure for Harry. Yeah, they don't like Harry because they can control Harry. And Harry read right through them. That speech that Harry put when he was leaving the UK, alright, it shook them. And Harry warned all of us about what was going on. It was too big for him to take on them. Okay, Harry knew, in my humble opinion, everything you see that's going on. It was too much. He can't fight all of them. This is why Harry was saying, what did he say? Where this is much bigger than us. All right.
But the media is a powerful force, and my hope is one day our collective support for each other can be more powerful, because this is so much bigger than just us.
Alderton is a genius hate figure for Harry, and a major block to his rehabilitation and reconciliation with his father is being removed. Harry will be extremely pleased. So a good day for Harry and a bad day for those who think the king is making a mistake by bringing him back in. Nah, they're just done, okay? The lawsuit is done. His job is done. They don't need to know what Harry's doing. They got what they wanted. They scared the king to make sure the king tell the, I don't know, in my humble opinion, the judge what to do. Okay? Because they did not want to lose. So his job was done. Because they did not want Harry to go to court. Alright, let me read this and then I'll start a new video. Okay, I'm going to get some popcorn. It is starting to get good again. The tales from Salty Island is looking mighty real again. Alright. It's my own personal experience that one can never go back in life, no matter how much you wish it is to be, no matter what anyone promises, even tries to help you to achieve it. If I was the Sussexes, I will say resounding no to what King Charles III said once and continue moving forward, in my humble opinion. Harry's done. He's not going back. Very well said. I don't think they will ever go back. They can have a parent-child relationship without subjugating themselves. Yeah, I think the thing that they wanted was the picture for the kids. And they're done with. And Harry have managed to go back and forth to the UK. Whatever works for him is done with. Alright, only time will tell. Charles is all about Charles, but he's smart enough to know William will lose the whole Commonwealth and only Harry and Meghan can save it. I know Harry said he will help with the Commonwealth, but I don't think he will ever be under the firm control again. No, they have both seen firsthand what the Vipers are about. Yeah. All right, let me pause. The laugh. The damage done of how his view as father and grandfather is irreparable. The royal sycophants and propagandists have been selling the idea that Harry's brother is the preferred king in waiting. Many are no longer buying what they are selling. Oh, this has precious little to do with king, in my opinion. The king is a passenger in this coach. I think so too. Like I said, the Alderton guy, his job is done. The lawsuit is done. The paper won, so that thing is done. What his job was is to make sure to frame, be like a bridge. That's it. Be like a bridge between the palace and the paper. When the papers want something and Charles don't want to do it, he put the pressure on Charles. If you don't do this, this is going to happen.
For them in that situation, right, there is a level of control by fear that has existed for generations. I mean,
But who's controlling?
I'm acutely aware of where my family stand and how scared they are of the tabloids turning on them.
And then make Charles subject to compromise his integrity and all of that. All right, so that's that. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share if you want to support this channel. You know what? Let me go back. I have one more tweet. Actually, 3 more tweets that's talking about the Clive thing. So let me put it in one video, even though I'm already 30 minutes. Let's go back to Twitter. Next tweet. I read the article, so I wasn't supposed to read it. There he is here. Sir Clive Alderton, aka the Wasp, bringing his retirement forward because how dare King Charles meet his grandchildren is so predictable. Like so many courtiers before him, Clive got too big for his boot and started believing he was more powerful than the king. What a delicious reality check and very public clipping of his wings we've just witnessed. He will not be missed except perhaps by his fellow conspirators, Willie and Kate Macbeth. Again, I don't believe this is why he's leaving. His job is just done. The bridge between the paper and Charles. When the paper wants something, they go to him and pass it on to Charles. If Charles said no, he become the pressure. If this doesn't happen, then that will happen to you. This kind of thing. All right, interesting. Pray tell. Oh well. Is this the unfortunate looking man who told Harry to drop the lawsuit against the son, or there will be consequences? Okay, this person gets it. That's it. This is it. Meaning they will do everything to harm Harry family. The institution has to have horrible people like him who knows how to fool the subjects so the facade can go on. That's it. This person get it. This is it. I didn't even see this comment. I've been saying as I was reading the article, this person gets it. That's it. Okay, yep, that's the one. All right, let me go to the next one, and I think that will be the last tweet for this video. Okay, so there's that. Imagine dedicating years only for your retirement headline to read Harry Wasp retires. That's a brutal legacy. And the Lord said, henceforth, all that you do will be in reference to the Sussexes. All right, Harry Wasp retired. This is the headline. Yeah, his job is done. That's it for the paper. Laughing my ass off. They earned their boot-licking headline. Sir Clive, do let the door hit you on your way out. Good riddance. People are laughing. There's that. Okay, whatever's here, that's it. Okay, but he works for the king. Why does he belong to Harry? Are we creating distance from the shenanigans of that family? I believe Charles and Harry has made an agreement. I think Charles has again, we go back to the lawsuit. His job is done. The paper won. I don't know if there's gonna be any appeal. How long? Okay, let me look it up. Okay, so this is what I asked Google. I spell it wrong. Is Prince Harry and the other claimants are appealing the result of the Daily Mail lawsuit? It says no. Appeal is considered unlikely following the High Court decision on July 7, 2026, dismissing all claims against the publisher of the Daily Mail. Legal experts and campaign groups noted that pursuing an appeal is not expected. All right, so, and okay, the other thing is, how long Because in the US, after a judgment have come, I think there's like, I'm not a lawyer, okay, but I'm just going on top of my head. All right, there's a time frame, I think at least 30 days for you to file an appeal. Otherwise, whatever, if you don't do the appeal, the judgment, what happened is the judgment. So now my next question for the UK, because this is a different country, how long do you had to appeal? Let me pause and look at and search that. Okay, so this is what I asked Google. In the UK, make sure it's in the UK I'm talking about. In the UK, how long can one file an appeal after a judgment? In the UK, you usually have 21 days to file an appeal after civil judgment, but the exact deadline changes depending on the court or case type. You can check official guidance on whatever. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so it's pretty much, let's see, 21 days for whatever this is, civil family high court, so 21 days. I think it was to the high court, heaviest case. Upper tribunal decision, 28 days. Magistrate court criminal, 15 working days, so even lower. Other tribunal may range from 7 to 56 days. All right, so the most is 28 days. Now what I'm gonna ask Google, how many days since the Daily judgment is. All right, well, you know, I'm gonna leave this open. Let me open a new one. Let me pause. All right, so this is what I asked Google. How long was the Daily Mail versus Prince Harry court case judgment 2026? I put 2026 because there have been so many lawsuits, so I'm talking about this year. All right, the court judgment for Prince Harry's privacy case against the Daily Mail's publisher ran to 436 pages. All right, so they're talking about the pages, you know. Handed down by Mr. Justice Nick Lang, on July 7, 2026. So from today is July 28. So how long is that? So we are in July. All right, let's do the calculation together. All right, so the thing was done July 7. Okay, we're gonna count it together. All right, July 7, there it is here. So we have 7 days here, that's 14. Okay, 12 and 19 is 14. Okay, we are 28, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's it. There's no appeal. Harry and the others are not appealing it, so he left. His job is done. That's all. That's all that is playing here. He was there to make sure, to put pressure on Charles, to make sure the bidding of the case go to in favor of the Daily Mail. All right, so the thing is being played in front of all of us. All the questions that I ask. The first one, in the UK, how long one can file an appeal? Okay, you have either 21 days, 28 days, but it seems like Harry's case was mostly in the High Court. 21 days. Right? And then what was the other question that I asked? How long the court case? Okay, these are that's when they give the judgment, July 7th. Okay, so from July 7th to now, it's more than 21 days. Harry is not pursuing it. He did his job and he's moving on. He has other important things. So that guy, his job, Sir Clive Alderton, his job is done. All right, so that's it. Okay, did I finish everything? This is what's playing here for you guys. This is why my channel's not doing too well. And my crazy thinking, I'm sort of clarifying the nonsense they're playing in front of us. This is why they don't want my channel to make any money. Let me finish with this and that's it. I believe Charles and Harry has made an agreement. I think Charles has asked Harry what it'll take for him and family to be more present during his reign, and Harry answered, "This is where all the so-called royal reporting clowns should start worrying." Okay, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, and it's written by his media buddy, the toxic British media. Imagine with that nickname on the history book. Alright, this is hilarious. Is it true? The Wasp is the one sitting on the board at Ravik, blocking Harry's risk assessment. Again, his job was for that, to put pressure on Harry. Make sure everything that Harry wants, he doesn't get. Put Harry's life in danger. So, whatever. Oh my God, Ravi blocking Harry's risk assessment. I wonder if that had anything to do with giving him the boot. No, it's just his time is done. His job for the paper is done. He was fired, I'm sure. Okay, these are extra things that doesn't make sense. Okay, discussion, whatever the squad are thinking, even mine, okay, is my opinion as well. But you could pause and read, but I don't think those comments are leading in the right direction, with the exception of one. Let me see if I could find that comment. Did I like it? Oh, thank God, I liked it. So it appeared in my comment thing. All right, this is the answer. This person gets it. Is this the unfortunate looking man who told Harry to drop the lawsuit against the son, or there will be consequences? Meaning they will do everything to harm Harry's family. The institution has to have horrible people like him who knows how to fool the subjects so the facade can go on. This person gets it. That's it. This is the answer here. Of all the tweets that I read, this is the person who gets it, who's pretty much, let me repost it. So that is it. Do I have anything that relate to that so I could squeeze them in one comment and one yeah, I think that's it. So please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. All right, so check my PayPal, Cash App if you want to support my channel. That's it. I'm gonna do one more because I know I won't have time to finish edit everything, because by 6 o'clock I need to start getting ready. My son, I have to take him to the doctor. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
We ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.